Hey, I'm Zach, reporting in from Wakayama Castle here in Japan, and today we're going to talk about, has my salary increased after 2 years at a Japanese tech company? All the countless hours over a couple of years, just typing away on the keyboard to learn coding or programming, was it all worth it? I'm going to break down my starting salary, current salary, total income, and where we're going from here. Spoiler alert, we're going to be talking about freelancing and side income, so if you're interested in that, I'm going to talk a little bit about how you can do it too. So let's get right into it. If we look back at my very first video that I ever did on this YouTube channel, we'll see that my original goal for doing all this, for getting into the tech industry, was to at least double or more preferably triple my salary that I had as an English teacher. And I'm here to tell you today, my friends, that has happened already. I'm 2 years in and it's happened. It actually started happening 1 year in. It wasn't from my day job salary. It was from the side income from freelancing and other tech related activities. So yeah, as I said in the intro, if you're interested in that for yourself, I'm going to talk a little bit about how I'm doing that. So how much has my salary increased from the company? To break it down simply, it has increased by exactly zero. Mostly I'm to blame, but there's not really a system in place at my current company for clear promotion, and we'll talk about that in the video. What exactly happened? My whole framework is coming from Texas because I lived my whole life in Texas basically before I moved to Japan. When I was here in Japan as a broke English teacher, I was considering going back to the US. When I was learning how to code. What I was looking at was about 40 or 50,000 US dollars a year start out in Texas, which is more than enough to live off of as a single person. That actually sounded pretty amazing as an English teacher in Japan based off of that salary. I was pretty hyped up about it, about learning to code and getting into the tech industry. And then, of course, from what I heard from my friends who are in the tech industry, you could potentially change jobs as soon as 6 to 12 months into the industry and get a huge bump up in salary. I had that in my mind going into it. Now, if we look at the starting salaries in Japan, it's going to be anywhere from the very low end would be like 3.2 million yen, which is where I started, full transparency, and still am there for my day job. And then if we see people like in the Tokyo area or very highly qualified people, maybe they got 5 to 6 million starting out. I've seen boot camp grads in Tokyo start out at 5 to 5.5 million, so it happens. And again, this is all relative. If you convert 5 million yen into US dollars right now at the current exchange rate, that's going to sound really low, and you would not be able to survive off of that in the US probably. But when I first started getting into coding, 5 million Japanese yen sounded more a lot like 50,000 US dollars. So it didn't really look a whole lot different to me if I stay in Japan, get a 5 million salary, or go back to Texas and get the $50,000 salary. Although the rent is cheaper in Japan, so you'd probably be better off in Japan financially. But anyway, that's just a side note. What happened at my day job? Why has my salary increased by precisely 0 yen? Well, there are a couple of reasons. One is it's a very small tech startup. It was 10 people roughly when I joined. Now it's about 20 people. And at these smaller companies, you might get into the job and realize that the person who has been working there the longest has only been there for like 4 years. And that's very much the case of this company. Nothing wrong with the company. I'm not saying anything is bad. It's a great company to work for. But in terms of career progression, I realized about 1 year into the job that it's not there. And even the CEO told us that when we first got into the company. He said, hey, most people leave after 2 or 3 years. They build up the skills They leave and they can probably double their salary, in some cases even more. I saw that and I thought, okay, well, let me see what's out there for me here in Japan. So I was at the 1 year mark. I had 1 year of experience and I started applying to jobs here in Japan. And I did over 20 interviews with companies, probably like 30 interviews I did with companies. And I could have gotten 2 or 3 of those jobs if I would have been willing to move to a different city. Here in Wakayama, there are no tech jobs for foreigners here in Wakayama. I would have to move to either Osaka or Tokyo, and then I'd have to be going into the office at least 2 or 3 days a week. So I just was not willing to do that. Especially not for the salaries that they were offering. I could have bumped up my salary at the Japanese companies, but still, I don't think I could have gotten over 4 million yen. And the common question I had in every interview was, why are you trying to leave after 1 year? So if we look at my friends in the US who are in the tech industry, most of them were hopping jobs all the time until they get to like the 6-figure salaries. And then they kind of stay there for a while. That's what I had in my mind. But it's very different in Japan because traditionally they've had this lifetime employment where you graduate from university, you get that first job, and you stay there until you retire. Even though it's changing, it's still in their mind. Like, a lot of people still do not change jobs. And to think of someone like me over the age of 30, like a Japanese person over the age of 30, changing career is almost unheard of. Just their whole system is weird. It's based off of years of employment, not off of your skills, generally, at a traditional Japanese company. So pretty much every company asked, they were concerned. They're like, why is this guy trying to leave the company he's at after 1 year? Is there a problem at the company? Is there a problem with him? Is he running away from something that's difficult? Because Japanese companies don't want to fire you. Because of that lifetime employment mentality, it's typically very difficult to get fired in Japan. They were all suspicious, to say. I would say they were suspicious, wondering, why am I trying to leave the company after 1 year? But still, I could have gotten 2 or 3 of those. I'd probably have about a 10% job offer rate for jobs that I applied to. But yeah, none of them were willing to pay over 4 million yen for still a junior level developer with only 1 year of experience. Some of those companies were honest with me. They said, hey, like, come back after you have 2 or 3 years and we can give you the salary you want, which would be like 5 or 6 million yen. And even a lot of recruiters told me that. They're like, hey, you're not going to have good luck. And you got to play the game. You know, the whole interview process, it's a game. So obviously you can't say, like, if they ask you why you want to change a job, you can't be like, oh, well, the salary's not enough to survive or whatever. Like, you can't tell them the truth. Obviously, like, that's the whole game of interviewing and getting job offers, is you're not telling the truth for most of these things, right? You can't say, hey, I don't have enough money to pay my bills, so I'm trying to find a different job. You've got to make up some story about how you want more of a challenge or whatever. I don't know. Ask ChatGPT why you should be searching for a new job. So anyway, yeah, 1 year into the tech industry, I realized, hey, this isn't gonna work. I gotta do something else. I mean, I'm gonna stay at my full-time job, but this company is not gonna pay me the money that I need. Changing to a different company also isn't gonna do it. So I abandoned my path that I was on. You know, like the coding interview book, the green book, the lead code, the coding challenges, the interviews, the networking. The trying to become like a top level programmer in my tech stack, which was TypeScript, React, and Next.js. I abandoned all of that and went all in on freelancing. Not to say I didn't quit my day job. Obviously, like I'm still at the day job and doing what I have to do to keep the job, but I'm not excelling as a top level talent because that's not going to get me where I want to go financially. It could, you know, if I would have continued that path and changed jobs after 2 or 3 years of experience, yeah, I mean, I could have eventually leveled up, but just I wanted it sooner. And I think the real underlying issue here, it's been coming from, back when I was an English teacher, and I guess even since I was a new graduate straight out of university, is I guess I realized I'm tired of leaving my situation in the hands of other people. I don't know if that makes sense, but it's like you get out of college and you're begging for jobs, right? And then you get your job and you're begging for a higher salary. Like your whole livelihood is based on essentially you begging your boss for a higher salary. And I just couldn't take it anymore. Even I talked with the company that I work for, and they're like, no, that's not possible at this company, like the amount of money that I want to be making. Because, you'll watch the YouTube guys who are all about, like leveling up your career. And advice I heard was you go in to management or whoever's in charge and say, hey, like, what do I need to do to make this amount of money? I think even Alex Ramosi said that in a video. And so essentially that's what I did. And they told me that's not possible at this company. The smaller companies, they're really good for getting into the tech industry, but unless you're just like super top level talent and you're gonna take full responsibility of these huge projects, it's just not gonna be a place for you to grow in your career. You can definitely grow in your skills, but yeah, so I abandoned that whole path. I went all in, so to speak, on my outside of my working hours. So with my full-time job plus doing the side business, you're talking about 60 to 70 hour weeks, all in an effort to set up something for your future, for your financial future. Yeah, it's been about a year and a half that I've been freelancing on Upwork. I've been doing Shopify for 4 years now because I started my own store 4 years ago on Shopify, and you don't need coding for that. That's to set up a basic store. So I actually consider myself more of like a mid-level, reaching senior level Shopify expert. And that's what I've been doing for the past year and a half, and all of my spare time is building up this side business for Shopify development, and it's going well. Like in terms of gross income, not counting what my business expenses are for the side business, I've reached the triple English teacher salary, 3 times what I was making as an English teacher. I'm there already, and this bird is really annoying. It's so loud, but that's what we have to deal with out here. I mean, if I wasn't trying to record a video, it would be kind of relaxing to just sit out here. But anyway, yeah, I mean, the side income, that's the whole thing, building my own business and being in full control. I can see, the more work I do, the more money I get. Whereas if you're working in a company, the more work you do, it doesn't matter. Like you do more and more work and more difficult things, but your salary is flatlined. So it's just more motivating for me. Like I can wake up every day and I have all these tasks to do for my freelancing, but I'm excited. I'm like, wow, I have a bunch of work to do and I'm going to get a lot of money for all this. So it's exciting. Yeah, I guess, I don't know. Maybe I was never meant to do the whole office job type of thing. I never could. I mean, I was teaching guitar lessons before I came to Japan. So maybe it's just not for me. But the day job that I have is not a typical office job. It's fully remote, flex time, core working time, very good working conditions. Sorry, we lost the camera there from a little bit of wind. The smaller tech companies and these entry-level tech jobs, it's just a stepping stone to something better. I've started my own business. It's officially registered as an LLC. We got the business bank accounts, Upwork agency account, everything. So I'm slowly shifting that side business that I have as a freelancer. I'm converting it into a legit business, and we'll see what happens. We'll do another update video at 3 years in the tech industry and see if I can finally get to that 6-figure salary. So stick around and find out. And of course, if you need help, you want to get some side business going on your own, I can always guarantee you contracts on Upwork because, well, now I've got my official Upwork agency. I can subcontract to you and we can work together. And the people who do join, they're getting real results in general. Like the people who do exactly what I tell them to do and they follow the plan, they're getting results. And I'm going to be interviewing some of those people soon. People who are getting full-time developer jobs, people who are having success on Upwork as a freelancer. So definitely check that stuff out. And I will see you guys in the next video.